वे नमः। वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing Yoga Vasishta Nirvana Prakaran, the last half, and 32nd chapter, the glory of satsang, association with the absolute by any means, and the state of moksha, the liberation. Yesterday we saw liberation is independent of itself. It is not conditional by anything. When you end your struggles, then the goal reveals itself. Unrevealed reveals itself. When you stop your journey, then begins the kingdom of liberation. This is what we saw yesterday. Today he says, जिस पुरुष की वृत्ति बहिर्मुख है. Yesterday also we saw the introvertness of the mind ends in the absolute, which is substratum for everything, which is center of everything, which is causeless cause for everything, which holds everything, but itself is not cause for anything because it is absolutely one. So, one whose mind is introvert, then he reaches that center which is otherwise known as heart or the cave of the heart. He ends his journey. No more he does any actions. Actions means movement. There is no movement, absolute equilibrium. So he rests there forever and ever. And that is the absolute state of peace, equilibrium, constancy. Sat, Chit, Anand, existence, knowledge and bliss absolute. And whose mind is extrovert, who gives up the center and goes out of center, then they have to meet all sorts of diversions, differences, and because of which all the changes, all the transformations or modifications, so result of which he has to suffer, and suffering is the end of it. This is what we saw yesterday. जिस पुरुष की वृत्ति बहिर्मुख है वह पुरुष उस तरह असद भी दुख का निवारण नहीं कर सकता जिस तरह असद रूपादि के अनुभव का निवारण नहीं कर सकता। अर्थात उस पुरुष के लिए दुख दुर्निवार है, परंतु जिस पुरुष की अंतर्मुख वृत्ति है वह पुरुष तो प्रारब्ध प्राप्त दुख का अनुभव करते हुए भी अपने आत्मानंद में ही मस्त रहता है। अतः आत्मानंद के अनुभव से आच्छादित हुआ दुख भोगा जा रहा भी उसके लिए अभुक्त सा ही रहता है। यह कहते हैं भद्र दृढ़ वासना से युक्त पुरुष स्वप्न के सदृश असद दुख का उस तरह अनुभव करता है जिस तरह संकल्प से रचित असत रूपालोक तथा मानसिक दुख आदि का यानी बाह्य एवं आभ्यंतरिक पदार्थ का अनुभव करता है। He gives the example of introvert person who is always resting in the center of the heart, always in rest, though his body or outside relations which he had before, because of which his body and senses or his personality, so-called personality, with mind, intellect, prana and ego, all these they suffer, yet he never suffers. Why? Because he is the witness of all these. He is not all these. He witnesses all these, and just as one, even though suffers in the dream, he will not suffer when he is awake. Dream sufferings are not real sufferings. The person who suffers in the dream, when he wakes up, he never feels any pain anywhere. Similarly, one who rests in the center of the heart, though his body and other relations seem to suffer, he will see it as if a dream. So he never suffers. Many such cases we have seen about the great persons, wise men who are realized souls. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, for example, in the end of his body, he was suffering from cancer. And people used to say, he is such a great soul, how he is suffering. But he never He never showed any suffering in his behavior. Never. Though all those symptoms of suffering was seen in the body, but while he was talking or behaving with others, no such trace of any pain was seen. And in the case of Raman Maharshi also, in the end the body had to suffer. But the person who is witnessing the body, he never suffers. Just as if your cloth somehow or other it was put into drying in some place, somehow it caught fire. You are witnessing your cloth is burning. So do you feel any burning sensation in your body or in your self? Because you are witnessing it, that object is your, but you are not the object. The object belongs to you. You are not the object. You are just witnessing it. Similarly, when one gets relieved or gets rid of the attachment of this body, who feels I am not the body, I am the witness of the body, though the body and senses, they suffer, he never suffers. Avasyameva bhuktavyam subha subha karma phalam. The actions which has reactions are done by the body, senses, mind, intellect, ego, prana. All together they have a society, cooperative society. One cooperates with the other, and all together, when they get together, the action is performed. So there is reaction of the every action. So who will enjoy the reaction? The doer will enjoy the reaction, the result of the action. So when the body and senses, this group, they do the action, they have to suffer. But the person, he is the self, not he is not this group. He is the witness of the group. In no way he is concerned or involved in actions or reactions. So prarabdha means the actions which are done before and now are ready for fructifying. They will get the result of their old actions. So they have to enjoy it, good or bad. So the body with senses and mind and all these prana, etc., they have to suffer. And this suffering doesn't affect the soul, realized soul, in any way. He is totally different from all these. This is the result of introvertness, whereas the extrovert mind, extrovert person, he identifies himself with the body. Why? Because all these outward world which is out of the center, out of the heart, which is out of the body, out of the heart, which is projected out of this body as the visible names and forms, or all these nature around us, the world around us. This is projected out of the heart. When the reality is when the heart which is the state of absolute equilibrium, when it appears as it were, which is not true. It appears as if it is vibrating. So those vibrations which are just imagined or assumed or superimposed or just the ideas only that it is in motion. So it affects those vibrations, it affects the body, whole body, and it goes out of the body through the gateways of the senses, and then it projects outside. So the reality is this outward world which is visible to us with names and forms, they are just outward superimposed vibrations of the heart. Superimposed. It is not really there. So all these outward world, when there is changes, there is cause and effect, action and reaction, everything goes on changing in a cycle. So pain and pleasure is observed in the outside world only, which is just imagined outside of the heart. And when the person realizes the truth, truth means absolute equilibrium, then he knows all these are false, superimposed changes or vibrations, or which is called energy or play of energy, which is resulted in names and forms, doer and done objects and doing process. All these are just imaginary phenomena which is superimposed on the heart, which is ever in balanced state. So, whatever is going on in this world, the person who is always abiding in the center, he will not be involved in this, nor he will be suffering nor enjoying anything. He just witnesses everything. So this is the result of introvertness and extrovertness. Extrovert person always suffers and introvert person never suffers. This is what he meant to say.
स्वामी जी, can you here define more briefly about heart? Heart जो बता रहे हैं, वो heart का मतलब क्या है? ये दिल का टुकड़ा को मान ले या शरीर को माने?
Heart is just as we name the Absolute as Supreme Self or Param Brahma or the uh, Purushottama or the absolute truth, we have to term something. This term is called symbol or indicator. These words, what we say, all these words, they just indicate the truth. So, if you say heart, it is nothing other than the supreme truth. And if you say the truth, then you have to explain something on the word. What is the meaning of the word? Then only we go for all these explanations. Actually, there is no meaning of all these words. The reality is, all these terms what we use for the absolute truth, they are meaningless. Why meaningless? Then why do you use it? It indicates that lakshartha कहते हैं, laksharth. Many times we have discussed it, just as I showed by my finger, look at that bird on the tree. You will look at the tree, look at the bird, not at my finger. My finger is the indicator. It is not the bird. It is not the aim of the indication. So, when I asked you by showing my finger, look at that bird sitting there. Just as you forget about my finger, you look at the bird sitting on the tree. Similarly, my finger is not the bird. Bird is to be seen, not the finger. Similarly, all these terms, whatever we use for some meaning, that meaning should be understood, not the word. All these words are symbolic or indicative. They have no meaning of their own. Similarly, the heart has got no meaning. That spiritual heart, what we talk of, it has got no explanation nor any definition.
क्योंकि आप इसीलिए वो एक्साइटिंग लगा, क्योंकि इसके बाहर है दुनिया, इसके अंदर तो दुनिया नहीं हो तो.
So, if you see the world, just as yesterday I showed you, now you go to the center, where you reach. Come on. This is world. So this is the heart. The absolute center is called heart, and this is external world. The projection is the world. So Just go on imagining how it will be, how will be the heart. To have some ideas, we use all these words. Just as to make the child sleep, the old grandmother speaks a story, tells a story on ghosts to the small child. The child goes on imagining some forms or others. Something is going on in his mind which is not at all there. Just as the story of the king. There was a king, he had no queen. And he had three children, three sons. One had no head, one had no belly, and other had no legs. One who had no legs, he used to run hither and thither. He never sat quiet. And who had no belly, he used to eat only day and night continuously. He was never satisfied with eating. And one who had no head, he used to go on thinking always and doing nothing else. In that way, the story goes on for long. They grew up and they were the princess. So the king had to enthrone someone. So the king declared, go for a journey, for pilgrimage, and one who will come first, he will be enthroned as the king. In that way, go on adding some imaginary something. All these story has got no meaning at all. From the very beginning, he said the king had no queen and he had three children. How there will be three children? And one who has no head, how he will think? One who has no legs, how he will run here and there? All these are simply meaningless words. Similarly, whatever words we are using, whatever language we are using in our relative transactions of the daily life, we speak something and others are related by our speaking and they understand something and they react accordingly. And in this way our life goes on. But all these are your speech and their hearing and their reactions, all these are meaningless. Everything is meaningless. How it is meaningless? Hari Om.
Maharaj, from a relative point of view, this waking, dreaming and deep sleep is for the physical heart. So for this heart there is no waking, dreaming and deep sleep.
No, not at all. Not at all. See, when you have supposed there is someone, then he will have three aspects. He is bound to have three aspects. This deep sleep, dream and waking, all these three states are just imagined. They are three aspects of the manifestation. Manifestation is imaginary. There is no real manifestation anywhere. Manifestation means the revelation of ever revealed truth. That is called real manifestation. It is already manifested. No more manifestation, no more changes, no continuous manifestation is possible, nor it is there. It is already manifested. Manifested means awareness is aware of itself. Awareness is aware of awareness. That is called manifestation in real meaning. And so-called meaning is it appears to be something else. The example is given of the rope manifested as the snake. Rope was always there, it was, call it manifested or unmanifested or reality or ever existing in any language you can say. But the rope was there, is there, will be there. But the snake came, which was manifested because of darkness. Because of darkness. Because of your faulty vision. Because you could not see the reality in its true nature, so you saw the snake instead of the rope. That is called superimposition. That is assumed. It is just imagined, which you are not there. So the moment the light comes, you are aware of the reality. Now the snake is gone forever, not to come again. In this way, the reality is there, but somehow or other, due to ignorance, we don't see it. So we see something else instead of the reality. So whatever we see, because we are in ignorance, we are in darkness, whatever we see and whatever we express, everything is wrong. So our expression, our speech, our thoughts, our actions, everything is wrong. It is started from the wrong assumption. So in some way, the great seers have seen it from different angles. Some people have seen it. This projection is known as sound. The projection of the sound. And this sound, the primordial sound, the moment it was imagined as something, so that imaginary sound was named as Om, the monosyllable Om. Call it anything you like. We have named it as Om. You can say Kuchandram. It has got no meaning. But we mean it. We mean it. Om is the symbol of the Absolute. And that Om is nothing but the manifestation, starting of the manifestation. So that starting point is nothing but vibration, and vibration is taken as sound here. And that vibratory system, we know vibrations are meaningless, just as the waves of the water are waves only, because we somehow or other we don't see the water, we call it waves. The same water is known as bubble. Can the bubble be different from the water? Some assumption, because we have forgotten the basic principle, that is water. Similarly, when we are unable to see the reality, then that is assumed or superimposed, or it is imagined as the vibratory system. And first vibration, first wave is known as Om. And then it has to go on. So, in the Vedas it is said, Omkaraschatha sabdascha dvaveto brahmana pura kantham vitva vinirjato tasman mangolika bhubhu. Om is the vibratory system which is known as the sound which came out of the mouth of the Creator. Who is the Creator? The first I. First identification. I am. That is the universal ego. And that is named as Creator because it has to multiply, because it is a vibratory system. So first the sound came out, and then, so sound cannot be one, it cannot be stable, because it is a vibratory system. So then means then is multiplied, multiplication process. Then means then Om goes on multiplying in the multiple waves. So different kinds of sounds are created, and these sounds means all these vibrations, they went on vibrating in all directions, because center is absolute equilibrium. When it started vibrating, the vibratory system is known as sound in all directions. 360 to the power 360, to the power infinity. So what will happen? Now just as we see the fountain in the garden, the water particles, they spring out and they mix up with each other, and when they drop down, there will be bigger drops of water. Or as we see the fog or the cloud, they are nothing but the particles of minute water. And when they get close up, when they get accumulated, they get the form of thick cloud or water, or the water also gets the form of ice, and in that way they go on accumulating and they pressurize, and one will have the influence over the other. That is called pressure. And then slowly, in the course of time, the same minute invisible water particles, they become the diamond. It is in the course of continuous change. In this way, all these names and forms which are created, which is known as the visible world, it is, if it is analyzed properly, thoroughly, scientifically, then in the end we will get only some vibrations of sound, nothing else. So whatever you speak, whatever you do, whatever objects are there, everything is sound. You are nothing but a pile of sound, vibrations. And if you analyze properly, scientifically your body, everywhere, every cell is vibrating. That is called life. Every cell. In the cell also atoms. The atoms are there, and every atom will have a center, and around it some motion is going on. Neutrons, protons, and electrons. Movement is everywhere there. And movement, when is continued, they get accumulated with each other, all those waves, and in this way, in course of time, in course of change, they get gross forms. That is how these names and forms and so-called world is visible to us. So the heart is unmanifested center before sound. And when the heart is vibrated, then the sound comes out, and comes out means then it will have some ideas of changes. So when there is change, then there will be, you know how change is seen. Motion and then stop and again motion. In that way only change is possible. Just as we walk, you have to stop for a moment. Then only you can bring back the hind leg and put ahead. In between there will be a stoppage for a moment, and then it will have a motion, and then again stop, again motion, again stop. That is how the change is seen. Change means a continuous stoppage and continuous motion, movement. That is how the whole nature is functioning. Whole universe. That is the creative process, the fundamental process. And that is how the sound has taken the shape of all our language. You know, before we speak, There was no speech in the beginning. There was the language of the body. And then the sound which comes out of the mouth, they are regularized and they were systematized, and then they had some relation with the objects, and then the meaning was given to it, and then the language is created. And language, you see, language is sound only. And that language changes geographically, it changes every 20, 30 kilometers. Because the objects change, geographical condition changes. So, the language has to change. Because language has a relationship with the objects. Unless the sound is related with the object, the sound has got no meaning. And then the sound was given some form. Sound also was given some form. First, in the beginning of creation, there was only body language, then came verbal language, and then it was given a shape, and that shape also changes from place to place. It is subject to time, space and conditions because it has a relation with the objects. So, objects are changeable, so the language also changes. So, the alphabet means form of the language also changes. You see, English language will have different alphabets. German language will have different alphabets. Sanskrit will have different. Tamil will have different alphabets. Why? Because they are subject to the relation with the object. And once some person, some leader came forward to give a form to the language, and many others followed it, then it was accepted as this is the alphabet of this sound, form of this sound. That's how the alphabets are made. And some languages yet they are which have got no script. No script. Gadwali has no script. So in this way the language is developed in the course of time, long time. And in the beginning the people have to write in ground or in paper. There was no paper, such paper was not in the beginning. And the leaves, and or in other way which can be carried from one place to other place. Leaves or yes, barks, and that is how Bhojpata.
पहले तो स्वामी जी दीवार पे नहीं था, वो दीवार पे अभी भी केव्स के पेंटिंग्स है, वो दीवार पे जिसकी
Yes, and then slowly
क्योंकि पत्थर से अगर पत्तों पे लिखेगा तो नहीं आएगा, वो पत्थर से तो
पत्ता में लिखते थे, in the leaves, and some strong leaves, palm leaves, the linings will remain for a long time. Yes, in different ways they started expressing it. And now, in modern age, we have this paper and pen. Now that paper pen will disappear, and only with a touch in your mobile phone. Yes, Guruji.
Maharaj, from a relative point of view, the physical organ heart is ever restless, not even for a second it can stop. So should we understand this heart what we are speaking, it is at ever rest or always working?
Both way. This working system is imaginary. If you imagine it is working, it will work. Your imaginary bird will rest in the sky or it will go on flying. Come on. What will it do? Will it have a nest to rest in the sky or it will go on flying ever and ever? As you think so it will become. Don't forget this formula. As you think, so everything appears before you. Everything is rooted in your thought waves, and those thought waves are nothing but the waves of the heart. They are transformed to the brain. Then only that headquarter, the head office, brain, we are more concerned with it and we forget the heart. But the house is, the abode is the heart. Office is the brain.
Swamiji, when you are talking heart, we are talking about the intellect, right? Intellect.
No, no.
Because heart cannot think, right?
Heart is the absolute state of equilibrium. That is the spiritual heart. Your physical heart is something else, that is different. We have named it physical heart, we have named it as heart because it is the center of the working system of the body. So, we have named it as heart. But really heart is where from whole universe projects out.
heart का मतलब center.
Center. Heart means center. And center means equilibrium. The absolute holder. Substratum. Yes.
Maharaj, from a relative point of view, it is both in space and time and above space and time also, this heart.
In the time and space it is called physical heart. And beyond it is spiritual heart.
जिसके बारे में कुछ भी नहीं बोला जा सकता, उसके बारे में कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं।
वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ, because we cannot speak, we cannot express it. It is the starting of the expression. So expression cannot express it. No language, neither body nor verbal language, no process can indicate. Of course, they can indicate it, they cannot exactly express it. They can indicate, they can direct you. Directions will be given, indications will be given by some symbols, by some signals, some methods. It is there possible. But when you reach near it, you have to give up all these. Then absolute silence. I gave you the example. When you read Gangotri, no more you search for Gangotri. it was your aim to achieve. That's how the Vedas said, achieving which there remains nothing more to be achieved, knowing which there is nothing remains to be known anymore. And I gave you the example of the peak of the mountain, when reaching which no more journey is there. You have to rest there. No more climbing, no more struggle. That is called kuta, kuta. Kutastha. Kutastha means absolute equilibrium. After reaching the height, the goal, the peak of the mountain, what will you do? Do you start again climbing up in the sky? That is the end of your struggle. And that is just opposite of our explanation here. Climbing upward and driving inward is same meaning. Climbing upward in the mountain and driving inward in the body, reaching the heart is same meaning. Height means depth. Height means depth. The absolute depth is the absolute height. So, when all these are cleared, then only we understand what is introvertness and what is extrovertness. Journey outward from the heart, from the center, is called extrovertness, and journey towards the center is called introvertness, inward journey and outward journey. So whatever you like. On this also there is some story on this. There was a king who was very much he had some idea of seeing the whole universe, the end of the universe. In universe, we can call it creation. End of the Maya, the creative process. That's how we have given it. The creation is ever expanding, energy is ever expanding, it has got no end. Your imagination has got no end. Go on imagining. Time and space has got no end, ever expanding. So, your mind also is ever expanding. And this king wanted to see the end of the creation. So he worshipped the fire god, and after long penance, the fire god appeared before him and asked, "What do you want? Why did you call me?" The king says, "I want to see the end of this creation." The god said, "It is impossible. It is endless. How can you see the end of endless?" No, I want to see. Okay, If you want to see, go on. So the fire god disappeared, giving the boon, and the king became, he was divided then and there into four, equally with all the equal DNA in all the four, with one mentality to see the end of the creation. So they started in four directions, and they were equipped with the past memories, whatever they experience, they will have the memory. They will not forget anything. And they will have uh, क्या कहते हैं, अबाध गति, अबाध, they will have non-interrupted motion. Anywhere they can go. They can even go through the wall. Uninterrupted motion. Then only they can go to the end of the creation. So they were given such powers by the fire god, and they started the journey. They went on and on endlessly. And they had to give up their bodies also. Body cannot survive for eternity. So they have to go on with the cycle of the birth and death. And yet they had all the memories and that power of entering anywhere and everywhere. But yet they have to be in the law of nature, because body they have, mind they have, so they are under the law of nature. So they went on and went on. The story goes on. Beautiful story. They could never see the end of it.
स्वामी जी, योग वशिष्ठ का स्टोरी है?
हाँ?
ये योग वशिष्ठ का स्टोरी है ये वाला?
योग वशिष्ठ का, विपश्चित, राजा विपश्चित का. The king Vipassit means wise man. He was so wise to see the end of the creation, but he could not. But the end of the creation is realization of the truth. Three of them realized the truth. And one is yet going on, seeing the end of the creation. Our topic was introvertness and extrovertness. Now we can understand little about extrovertness. Introvertness is so easy to reach the absolute end of all the actions, all the motions, all the struggles, all the efforts, your self-efforts, everything ends there, isn't it? But there is no end to extrovertness. So, when there is changes, when there is motion, action and reactions, so naturally there will be pain and pleasure. But one who goes introvertly, he just remains quiet and he witnesses all the outward play of the nature. Means he just witnesses pain and pleasures. And yesterday also we had discussed a little where is the pain and how is the pleasure? Pain and pleasure are subject to the doer. And if you have no doership, then you are not enjoyer of the pain and pleasure. And if you have doership, idea of doership, then who does the action? The body with the senses, mind, intellect, and prana, everything. So they are the doer, and they are created by the nature. So it is said, Prakritehe kriyamanani gunehi karmani sarvasaha. This nature who has created this body and senses, how it has created? By accumulation, by collection. How, what is collected? All these particles, the same sound in different forms, in different objects, they are collected. And so, when we go to the starting of the creation, the sound first manifests as the ego I, and that is the ego of the cosmic creator I, and then that knowledge is known as the light. So it is golden light, Swarna Bindu, the center of all the lights, self-effulgent light, that when has this idea of I, then that is known, named as Om, the first sound. And then it went on multiplying or manifesting, means in all directions. So slowly all these sounds are created. For Saraswati Upanishad, Rahasya, Saraswati Rahasya Upanishad, it gives the mystery of creation. How it is, how the creation is created, and what is the way back. Samadhi kaise lagana. How to enter into Samadhi, the easiest methods. Easiest method, the creation is simplified as 5 aspects. 5 aspects are the existence, Sat, the awareness, knowledge of existence. The existence knows that I exist. That is called awareness or knowledge of itself, self-knowledge. It knows that I exist. It is there in every object, every name and form, every being. Every being knows that I exist. That is the knowledge of existence. And there is satisfaction of this existence or knowledge that I do exist. I cannot non-exist. I cannot be absent. I am always present. That satisfaction, contentment is known as bliss. So absolute existence, knowledge and bliss, these 3 aspects belongs to one only, existence only. Existence knows I exist, and it has the contentment, satisfaction that I do exist, I cannot be non-existence. So these 3 aspects belong to one only. So these 3 are covered up when it expresses itself, that means, in other words, when it manifests, then it has to change. If it is manifested, then it has manifestation is a process, it is not a state, it is a process. So process is changing process. So naturally there will be whatever we have discussed now, all the sound, and then what happened? The sound has to multiply. So all these names and forms are created. Forms are created. What is a form? Form means what is formed. Formation means location or demarcation. That is how we understand what is formation. It has to have a shape and size. So when the unlimited becomes limited with location or formation or demarcations, that is called form. And when the form is formed, that has become something, so it has named as a being. So it will have a form, and then how to identify that form? Because it is not one, it will be many. So they have to be identified. So this sound becomes the name of the forms. They will have the sound will have relation with the form. Form also is a transformation of sound only. Just as the same wheat is known as wheat flour, and it is known as chapati, it is known as paratha, it is known as puri, it takes so many other different shapes. Maida, suji, what not. So many different forms according to shapes and sizes and use and relation with each other. In this way, this same sound becomes forms, and same sound becomes the name. So names are related with the forms. So all this creation is nothing but the manifestation of that three aspects, Satchit, Anand, knowledge, bliss, and existence absolute, which covers it up. Means by the expression, the reality is hidden away, as it were. So names and forms are the hiding factors. If you can give up, keep aside the names and forms, what remains? The knowledge, bliss, and existence absolute remains. That is yourself. So when you give up the names and forms, then you can enter into samadhi, means mind has no work now. Mind has work only, mind gets changing every moment from name to name and from form to form. This is its business. Mind changes only from names to names and from forms to forms. They are the support of the mind. Mind means thought waves. same vibratory system, the waves have to contact with some form which has a name. And then when it gets stopped or obstructed by the form, then it comes back to the source. And that is called our informative knowledge of the object. This is how the mind goes on restlessly, having contact with different objects which have got names and forms. So if you can somehow stop this, means delete the names and forms, mind will have, though there will be vibrations, vibrations will have no contact. So naturally the vibration has to stop. Here you may raise the question. Just as the ray of light, when it travels without being obstructed, it will go on traveling. The law of nature says, if a momentum is given in physics practical class, in a vacuum, there is a pendulum. If you give a momentum to the pendulum, the momentum will go on till eternity if it is not obstructed by any object. Outside, if you give a momentum to a pendulum, then it will stop sometime. Why? Because the wind obstructs it every moment. Wind and other objects are there, they obstruct it. But in windless, means in the vacuum, if a pendulum is given a momentum, it will go on oscillating till the eternity. This is law of physics. So, the question is, if the vibration is started, mind vibrations in the heart, the vibrations are there, and if it is not obstructed, it will go on, isn't it? So here is you have to go to the depth of your analysis. See, be very careful to understand it. When it is not vibrated, it is in rest. When it is vibrated and vibrations have no interruptions, then it will go on eternally. That means there is no vibration. What happens, nature, the secret of nature. When nature is a vibratory system, that is changing system. So, changing means every moment there will be obstructions. Then only it will have to change. And if there is a change, there is change of direction, change of action, direction and movement, everything will change. In this way, if you, in geometry, if you draw a line, we call it a straight line, but there is no straight line according to analytical theory. Every moment the dot, a straight line is defined as a dot, the journey of a dot. Journey of a dot. If the dot goes on not changing its directions, then that is called straight line. But it has to change the direction, or else it cannot change. So, there is no straight line according to logic. Every moment the dot has to change its direction. First left, then change to right, then again left, again right. So it appears as if it is straight. If you see it scientifically, analytically, nothing is changeless. So when the motion is not obstructed, see the meaning of the language. If the motion is not obstructed, then it will go on, okay, eternally. But there is no motion which goes straight. It cannot go eternally. It has to change its direction. It has to. See the different law of the same nature. One says it will go on eternally. The other says it will go on changing itself eternally. So the secret cycle goes on. Gupta Chakra. Gupta Chakra. The secret cycle. Everything repeats in the life, nature. So the mind has to come back to the center. Understood now? Our question was, it will go on eternally, but it cannot go on eternally. If there is vibration, then vibration has to stop automatically. If it is not obstructed by gross objects and names and forms. And another theory. This is very difficult theory, very hard to understand. Say our generator, it is a generator of energy, isn't it? How long it has to start once. So once it is started, it will go on. You need not start every now and then. It will go on. How it will go on, how long it will go on? As long as fuel is there. What is fuel? Fuel is nothing but energy. One energy is transferred into other energy. Understood now? Be very careful to understand the point. One energy is transformed into the other energy, and that's how the energy can go on eternally. Understood now? But energy means changing system. Understood now? If the mind has started, it will go on eternally. But mind is energy. One energy needs another energy to be feedback. So prana helps the mind. Prana gives energy, vibrates the mind, and mind vibrations goes on. And prana also is an energy. So prana needs another energy to be fed. That's how we eat food. food, whatever food we eat, what for? To give energy to the prana. Prana should go on. And in this way, the energy is in a cycle. This food also is created by another something. One is energized by the other energy. This is how the cycle goes on. So energy is going on all the time, eternally. It is an automatic process. One is food for the other. One becomes the food for the others.
And that's what is the first law of physics. It cannot be created nor destroyed. It will just keep on.
Yes, it will go on. It will go on. Once created means go on. क्या कहते हैं आपका ऑटोमेटिक प्रोसेस को?
Automation.
नहीं और कुछ कहता है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्रोसेस. Once it is started, it will go on electronic. Yes, so mind, if it is stopped somewhere in the cycle, see when the cycle is going on, if it is somehow or other stopped in one point, then it is stopped for eternally. So, if you can drop down these names and forms, they are nothing but mind only. Mind contacts the gross forms and names, but mind is a system only, and names and forms are under the system only. One becomes the food for the other, means the cycle should go on. That's how mind goes on eternally. If somehow or other you stop this cycle, that's how yogic method says, stop the prana, it is easy. It is easier process. Somehow or other you have to break this cycle. In any point, then the cycle will be broken. See, if the chain is there, all the links are having contact with each other, then the chain will work, isn't it? And every link is connected with the other link. If one link you have broken somewhere, then the whole chain breaks and chain has no meaning. And this is how the modern scientists say, the bomb, atom bomb, if you somehow blast one atom, then it is associated with other atoms. It will go on blasting other atoms. That is the secret. Blast will be there, and it will create havoc. Yes.
Maharaj, from a relative point of view, in the case of an individual, the desire what they say, the desire is also fueled by this energy only.
Again, please.
From a relative point of view, they say in the individual there is a desire.
Desire, yes.
This desire is also fueled by this energy only.
One desire is supported by the other. That's why we have always discussed it. When one desire is fulfilled, that means it has given rise to many other desires. It cannot be stopped anywhere. The cycle will go on. Yes.
Swamiji, practical सवाल है, might be very idiotic. Swamiji, according to अब जो बोल रहे हैं, like to reach that samadhi state, we have to go beyond that name and form.
Beyond means just don't have the contact with the contact of the mind with the name and form.
Yeah.
If the contact is broken, then mind has to stop. It is a cycle.
तो मैं यही पूछना चाह रहा हूँ लाइक फॉर पीपल लाइक अस जो हम लोग जो प्रैक्टिस करते हैं यूजुअली मोस्ट ऑफ वी डू जपा तो वो तो नाम रूप में ही रहते हैं तो जपा करके हम लोग कभी समाधि नहीं पहुंच सकते हैं इफ यू डू जपा कैन यू एवर रीच समाधि
Yes, yes. Japa, we shall discuss it now time. Why japa or withdrawal of mind in yoga before practicing concentration? You practice uparati, withdrawal of the mind. Withdrawal of mind again, why should mind go again to? Because mind is in a motion. See, when we drive a car, if we stop it all of a sudden with a brake, and if the brake is loosened, then the car will again move because momentum is there. So this mind has a momentum of movement. So when it gets obstructed by a name or form, it has to come back. And when we draw it back and never allow it, it has got a momentum. So again it goes. Again we have to withdraw. So in this way, when it is practiced again and again, then that momentum stops. Withdrawal stops the momentum or the tendency to go out. That's how slowly it ends in concentration. And when concentration prolonged, that is called meditation. And meditation prolonged called samadhi. Samadhi prolonged for long time, then mind will lose all its tendencies, momentums, whatever is given to it. It has to stop eternally. Understood? Now this withdrawal of mind from names and forms are classified into different sections. You can withdraw from name or you can withdraw from form, and then you can withdraw it in different ways. So samadhis are classified into different types. Anyhow, the principle, we shall discuss it if chance comes. Yes. Samadhi has got different types according to your withdrawal of mind from name or from form, or in what way you have withdrawn, where have you fixed. In that way it is classified. There is no much importance in classifications. And if you can attain samadhi, the easiest process is to just stop the connectivity of mind with the names or forms. That's all. Name rupe prithak kritva Satchidananda tatparaha. So simple formula. Keeping aside the names and forms, joining the mind with the Sat Chit Anand, existence, bliss and knowledge absolute. Names and forms are the obstructive agents. So names and forms, there are innumerable names and forms where mind has its business, relationship. That is what I and my, Mind has got no end. Wherever the senses go, mind has contact, it becomes mind. When you have seen the sun or the moon or the stars, it has some relation with you because you have contact with it. So you have to stop all your senses eternally, not to open it again. They are the rascals to have contact. देखना इंद्रियों के ना घोड़े भगे, रात दिन इनको संयम के कोड़े लगे. Day and night you have to control your senses, not to allow to be extrovert. यही तो कह रहा है extrovertness. That is what he is telling. So all these systems, when you know it analytically from every angle of vision, then it becomes easy. See these names and forms, they are useless. They have got no value at all. This is how we are considering, we are analyzing the process of language, how the language are meaningful or meaningless, it is valued or invalued. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. Artham anartham, the meaning and its value, you should go on thinking when you contemplate. Whether it has got any value, why should I contact it? What value it has got? Value means meaning. How it is useful. When it is used, then only it will have value. And use is possible when you mean it, when you know it. So all these complicated process goes on by the mind and we are restless. Somehow or other, somewhere or other, you have to put an end. Then the whole cycle will stop. Okay? Just one simple wire you can take out of the engine, the whole engine will stop. One simple small wire, the car will stop. Yes. ये सब भाग्य है, क्योंकि समझ में क्या आएगा इसमें, सब भाग्य दो चार बैठे. हरि ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. सद्गुरु भगवान की जय. सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय. शब्द ब्रह्म की जय. सरस्वती महारानी की जय. जोग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय. हरि ओम.